Everyone came up with answers. I don't know, 60 seconds. Does anybody want to go first? Who wants to go first?
First,
Yes.
my understanding of AI is in the course of my work, I write those manuscripts and I use the internet instrument. Occasionally, they come to indicate that, AI can help you, what we can train you.
Great. We would explore your use case first when we get into looking at AI tools that we can use. So we'll focus on manuscripts, writing more manuscripts. How many pages are this usually like?
The first one was 120
Okay.
double space.
Okay.
Another is 48, 84, sorry.
Okay.
Another one 300.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Who else wants to go? I think that's a broad use case. Who else wants to? What can AI do for you? Okay, sir.
Yeah, I'm thinking of how AI can enhance maybe my creativity.
What aspects of the creativity?
Oh, in areas of, let's say, illustration.
Okay.
Yeah,
Visual.
visual.
Great. Okay. Awesome. So we have visual creativity and we have manuscripts. Perfect. So now, I prepared a slide here. It's called machine thinking, but it's a methodology used to architect systems. The reason, I hate the slides and everything, but the reason I always put it is because it helps for further explorations. The basic definition of AI. AI is short for artificial intelligence. It's derived from a system called machine learning. It's derived from several aspects: machine learning, deep learning, and what we have today as LLMs. I can take you from a basic definition, but AI is essentially us training computers to do things. If we think about the basic form of compute, we can look at the calculator. A calculator does one function: give it a number and another number with an operator, and you get a result. That's what a calculator does. If you put an operator that is not known to the calculator, you would not get a result. Right? So computing systems work this way. They have an input, they have the logic, and they have the output. That's how a computer works. These lights, there is a switch somewhere. If you hit that switch, the lights go off. If you hit that switch on, the lights come back on. The input is the switch. The outputs are the LED lights. So when you think about computer systems, machine thinking, that's how you think about it. You see, if I give you this input, this is what the output would be. And to help you instruct it, there is something like that. Now, when we start exploring machine learning, it goes into the focus of, can we make this system smarter? Let's take the light bulb example. Can we make this system smarter so that when 4 people are in the room, only 4 of them would be on? So we get into the next evolution of instructing the systems. And if there are 10 people in the room, only 10 of it will be on. And can we also change it so that if it's 12 in the afternoon, there's a different light from when it's midnight? Can we make it sunlight? Can we make it warm in the morning? Can we make it blue in the evening or red so that you can sleep? Can we make it white in the afternoon so that your eyes won't hurt? The creators of this system, so now you're thinking, machine thinking, how do I make this machine do this? How do I make it consider me? How do I make it think? If you ever decide to do that, what happens is you go into this constant spiral of creating several logic gates. You'll create one for when it's daytime, night time, but you will also not be able to consider the person who is in Ghana and the person in the PST time zone. You see, in the US right now, it's somewhere early morning. So what if we took your light bulb and shifted to New York? Would it work the same way? Would it know that it is morning in New York and night? So after a while of constantly defining these instructions, it becomes harder to get the systems to operate the way we want them to. Essentially, the word is smart. We created machine learning. Machine learning was one of the first approach and applications to creating smart systems. So we do machine learning, we do deep learning, and today all of it is summed up into what we call artificial intelligence. Because now we've programmed so many rules, so many instructions that this system is somewhat intelligent enough. When you go into the complex applications of machine learning, there are several schools of thought that will tell you that, oh, these systems are not that smart, and you can argue about the intelligence, but those are for like advanced explorations. But now you have a system that understands almost everything, and you don't need to particularly tell it that, hey, you're in New York and it's morning right now, and it will do what it needs to do. The lights would be warm at 8 a.m. and they would go off the moment you step out of the building, right? So when you think about machine thinking, artificial intelligence, smart systems, that is it. So in order to use, AI, you need to be able to understand how machines work. And so we go into applied AI. What does AI look like when applied from your business context, sales, marketing, etc.? What are the various machine learning algorithms and their different approaches, right? So this is machine learning in business. Large language models, which is the hottest form of AI right now. What are the various machine learning algorithms? Ethics and business is you consider the ethical considerations about using AI, because these systems become so smart, you now have to ask yourself, do we need to set a boundary to what it can do and what it knows? And tools and techniques, the tools you can use to identify AI opportunities. Now, I could go over several of the algorithms. That would just be touching it because there are several algorithms. Before we've come into this version of AI, you have like the neural networks, the convolutional neural networks, deep learning. All of them are different. It's essentially, some of them are teaching systems how to drive. So those are neural networks. Some of them are teaching systems how to read X-ray reports and tell if you have pneumonia, COVID, etc. Those are convolutional neural networks. There are deep learning classification algorithms. Those ones are used in ATS systems. When you apply to jobs, when the government puts out a job and over 100,000 people apply for a single role, how do you screen all participants? Those ones are classification algorithms, entity extraction algorithms, different versions of machine learning. So in order to understand how we came to this part of AI, we need to understand all the small progress that has been made over time. We've taught this thing how to see. It can identify the road. Tesla was already putting vehicles on the road and there were self-driving cars. We saw robotic arms, they are great. We saw smart televisions, smart houses, they were great. We've seen, in business processes, we've seen recommendation algorithm. Like when you scroll through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok has one of the best recommendation algorithms because they'll consistently try to show you what you like watching, right? Those are various forms of AI that have come to this generation of AI that everybody refers to as large language models, multimodal models, etc. And so I'll share with you a very, very simple framework you can use for machine thinking. It's called ADA and SAM, right? ADA is understanding where AI fits. You start with analyze. So if you're in business, you want to analyze and break down your business value chain, each component in the value chain, from your inbound logistics, operations, marketing, and sales. Analyze every single thing that happens. Let's say I'm a publisher. The moment I get a customer to the point where I deliver to the customer what is involved in that entire process, right? So that's what you do. First, you need to analyze. Next, you need to define. You, when you've done the analysis, you now need to define the workflows. You need to define the business challenge, understand what aspects of your strategy is a risk, and open to innovation. Then you assess the current cost, lost opportunities, especially if you're going to present this to a board or stakeholders. This way you can justify why you need to build an AI solution. Then you need to align. Ensure that whatever problem analysis you generate aligns with your organization's overall objectives. And then there is SAM. SAM is essentially the second half of machine thinking. You want to scout, you want to research the various AI techniques that could address the problem and explain how each approach works and its potential benefits. So, in order to explore SAM, you need to actually know what algorithm would be useful for you, right? Because like I said, in the manuscript example, your workflow for writing the manuscript could, I'm just making an assumption, could look like you have an idea and you have an expected output of what the manuscript could look like. And for designers, they'll call it mood board, but you have several relevant sources that have different aspects of the manuscript you like to explore. And then you have your thesis, which is the core of the manuscript. And so your workflow will most likely be research. When you're done researching, you define your thesis and then you write and deliver the output. I'll just assume that it's what it's like. So in that assumption, the question will be, what AI models will be relevant in this section for me, right? What AI models do I want to use? If you do the research, it means you need an AI model that is very good with entity extraction. You are only interested in certain key information. You don't want to go over a 800-page research paper. You're not interested in that. You're mostly interested in just finding that piece of information that is important to you, right? So first, you want to scout. Knowing what algorithm you would use is very important in this process, because if you choose the wrong technique, you'll fail at executing your AI strategy. Then you want to assess. Now, you've chosen your technique and you're sure this is the right technique you're going to use to execute the strategy. But do you have the technical feasibility for it? And one key aspect to AI is data. Do you have the data or infrastructure requirements to execute this strategy? And finally, you want to model. So you've scouted, the AI technique you want to use. You've done the assessment. Now, based on your analysis, you want to select the approach that delivers the best value for you. Feasibility, alignment with your goals is very important. So that's SAM and ADA. For time, I could skip this and we can talk about the components of a good machine. But one of the quick primers I would like us to explore is prompting. Prompt engineering, because in current context of AI today, you need to write prompts to execute it. So there are various prompt strategies, but there's a lot of research that has been done around prompting, and this is one of the prompting techniques that have been able to generate the best results for projects. Now, there's called the baseline prompt. There is the zero COT, which is called the chain of thought. There is a system instruction prompt. There is a mock prompt, which is you give an AI a prompt and then you tell it what an actual interaction for it would be. There is the reiterated prompt, which is you reinforce the key elements you want in the prompt. There is the loose prompt, where you ask the model to strictly follow a guideline, or loose, where you ask it to just be free. And then there is a name. If you give your model a name, you would be able to, if you give your model a name, you can be able to refer to it in conversations. So the model would have a name and it will consistently recall. Apparently, by giving your AI model a name, it usually even tends to perform better, which is crazy. And then there's positive feedback. When you give the AI model positive feedback, it does well. So several of these prompt strategies have been put together, and these are kind of like the results. So the various ways you can measure how good a prompt is working is the precision of the prompt. How precise is it in executing exactly what you want? And then there's the recall. Recall is, okay, is this AI workflow able to remember some of the key items or elements I want it to be aware of, even if I don't want precision? And then there is template stickiness, which is essentially how well does it fit my template? Because in your business process, over time, over the years, you've streamlined how you do something. After a while, you now have this structure, this templates. Every new employee needs to align with the way you work and this template. And so over time, this template is how you deliver your work. This template is how you work. This template is how you research. This template is how you execute stuff. AI systems are able to actually mimic a template. And one of the prompt combinations that has about 98% 98% score in template stickiness is the instruction plus mock plus reiterated and strict prompt model. I can decide to show some examples of this in action, which usually helps. So there are two models. There's Claude and there is ChatGPT. And just to be sure, is there anybody here who isn't familiar with ChatGPT? Okay.
Who is not familiar?
Yes, who is not familiar? Okay. So ChatGPT is a class of models called the large language model. And the large language models are a class of LLMs that are so large in their knowledge, they are able to generate new data. So they are the class of LLMs that have become super popular right now. What they do is they are able to do anything you ask them to do. Say pick outfits to look good on camera. Like I can say, come up with an idea for a new book, right? Come up with an idea for a new book. Okay, so it's doing my picking outfit ideas. So I'll just ask it, come up with an idea for a new book. This is just a bland instruction and it's like the quantum composer. Interesting. Science fiction, thriller, music. And this is what it thinks a new book should be. I should write a new book where quantum computing and artificial intelligence dominate each industry. Music has evolved beyond human interaction. Enter Dr. Mia Thompson, a brilliant but recursive quantum physicist with a secret passion for music. Mia has developed a revolutionary quantum computer named Orpheus, capable of composing symphonies that resonate on a molecular level. That's quite an interesting idea. But you see, I just told you to come up with a new idea or come up with a new idea for a new book, and it did that. But I want something more interesting, right? So I could tell it, you know what? Say I need a children fiction series, and it's going to try. So of course, here's an idea for you: The Adventures of Luna and the Stardust Crew. Follow the whimsical adventures of Luna, a curious, brave young girl, and her magical friends, the Stardust Crew, as they travel through enchanted worlds, solving mysteries and learning valuable life lessons, right? So that's ChatGPT. You tell it something, it spits out whatever it thinks because it's an AI model that has learned a lot of this stuff. Now, if we explore prompt engineering, remember I said there are these various strategies for prompting, right? we can explore some of this, right? So let's first of all give this AI system a name. In fact, so I'm going to say it, I'm going to say you are my co-editor and your name is, let's give it a name. Let's call it BAM. And so it's like, got it. And now it has a name and it's responded with everything I've said to it. We are still going to explore. So the first thing would ask ourselves, what objective are we looking to achieve here, right? We want you to write a book, right? And this is just ChatGPT. Can I give it a reference book and it would use that to learn? Let's think of Mary had a little lamb. So I'm going to say something like Mary had a little lamb, but maybe this is when I explore your manuscript example, because this is where I'll be like, okay, you know what? I want to craft a whole book, and there are various tools you can use for that. There's this tool called Designer. It can craft a whole book from top to end, like top to end. I'll say I want a new book. I'd like to create an ebook to be published as PDF, and I would like to use Virginity as my baseline. The ebook would be on a topic. Let's give it this topic: lunar. Let's stick with the lunar story. The adventures of Luna and the Stardust crew. And so I'm going to just say, so we're going to start with the outline. I'll call it The Adventures of Luna and the Stardust crew. Apologies if this seems very fast, but I'm going to just try to generate an ebook and choose your sub niches. Yes. I want science and space pirates, and let's proceed. Going to ask it, who is the target audience for this book? Because I don't need to come up with that answer. Age group is typically in the early to middle stages of, okay. I'm just going to pick this and come over here and put it in and proceed. Choose title: Luna and the Stardust Crew, The Science of Friendship, Adventures. Let's look at Luna and the Great Intergalactic Friendship Festival. Okay. Tone of voice: informative. I want something enthusiastic. Yes, I do want it enthusiastic. And we click on next. And let's see. Thinking. And this might take a few minutes. I need to try to generate my book for me. And it's still generating it. And so that's literally 2 to 5 minutes of my time. And I just might have a new ebook for kids. I'll go over I'll explain the whole process after we are done generating. But we can see chapter 2, The Great Intergalactic Friendship Festival, a call to celebrate. As Luna and her Stardust crew soared through the shimmering cosmos, they were on a mission unlike any other. The crew has been preparing for weeks. I could even make this more fun, and you know what? I would go to 11 Labs so that I can have something narrate this whole thing to me. Again, the book. But I already want to hear what it looks like. I already want to see that. So it's generating, right? And this is just one-on-one workflow. And so all of a sudden, I have this AI generating a whole children's book to me. I'm not even a children's writer. Of course, there are arguments where we can say That's the interesting thing about these AI systems, right? So while this is generating a book, I could even go to try something else and try to, like explore, do a research, right? So this is another tool. It's called Elicit. Elicit allows you to research on various topics. And I who wants us to do a live research on a topic that exists right now? Just give me a topic. Let's do a research, maybe from a book or research paper.
Exploring factors contributing to the low participation of women in leadership.
Okay, so let's do that. So first of all, I'm going to do PDF. I'm going to search for PDF and say women leadership. First thing I want to do is, there are people who have already written stuff out there, so let's find them. I'm going to open this women leadership in organizations. I'm going to open this women as leaders, the more things change. Great. So these are existing documents. Perfect. I'm going to download them. I really don't know what they are. Introduction to Women Leadership History Theories. This one, Women Leadership in Organizations. I'm going to download this PDF. So let's do Women Leadership in Ghana. Let's see what someone has done. PDF. On the representation of women in leadership in Ghana, the UNDP has already done something. Great. All of this, I don't need to read any of them. Let's see if I can find more. Promoting women leadership in the digital era. So we have diverse opinions. We have one general research thesis and we have some local ones. Great. So what am I going to do? Let's dive into research. So first things first. So I'm going to tell it to extract from PDF and I'm going to put everything I have from here. When this is done, I would explain the concept as well. And let's see if our book is complete. It seems like it is. So let's pick a template. Choose a template. Or has it finished? Yeah. Choose a template or save. So it's saved. And we pick a template. So it's loading the templates for us. Nah, I just want standard templates. Let's use this one. Okay, all is finished here. Manage and organize the papers in your library. I won't be doing that right now. I will proceed. You're about to do a large extraction. Yes, let's do this. Okay, fine. Women leadership, all of this has been extracted. So let's put a pin in this and let's see how our book design is going. We'll use this template. So literally in less than 5 minutes, we have most likely written an ebook about, let's see, it's loading. So while that is loading, I can explain the type of prompt. This type of prompt is usually what you call a chain of thoughts prompt, but let's see if it's complete and I can explain it. We can explain everything that happened over this process. The book, and I'm sure there's more. Yes, there is more actually. The options are many. Okay. I think we can let it load and until it is done generating the book. Um, and we can go into this. Now, let's do your research. So the first thing is you mentioned is, what did you call it again? Give me the title.
I said exploring factors influencing low participation of women in Ghanaian leadership.
Okay, great. Now, so the first thing when you're doing research, when I explained SAM and ADA, I told you that first you need to identify in the SAM. I explained that you need to research the various AI techniques that could address the problem and explain how each approach will work for you, right? And then you assess the technical feasibility of each solution and your data availability. Now we are about to do the same thing. First, when you described it, the kind of AI model you need is entity extraction models for your research phase. You're also going to need data generation models. However, before we can begin, we need data. That data has to be existing research on similar topics, right? Existing research on sidecar topics, etc., and we can use that as a ground for conducting our research, which is essentially what we did. First, when you described it, it means we want to do entity extraction. So I did what I googled and I found this PDF research document. The first one is women and leadership. The other one is underrepresentation of women in leadership. And then female future program on the team promoting women leadership in a digital era. So let's describe, what concept do you think we want to extract from all of this? If the topic says exploring factors influencing low participation of women in Ghanaian leadership, I can simply say, why are women or why is there a low participation of women in leadership? We don't have to read all of these books, and we can now do a thorough search in the documents and extract all the information we need. So it's going to go through it and it's going to find it. So it will list all of this concept and then share it with us. And when it's done, we can go over it. Our book is ready. Voila. Luna and the Great Intergalactic Friendship Festival. Although I do not like this template, I think there can be better. I have found 24 concepts. Oh my goodness, it wants me to upgrade. So I want someone who would. So from this research, it found about 24 concepts in all of the papers and is extracting it for us. So essentially can use this as a way to start. The only reason I'm multitasking like this is because of the internet. So let's see. It's actually still searching. It has already found 99 concepts in the document. Here are some concepts we were able to extract. So one of it is women are less likely than men to compete for promotions and high promotability assignments. Research suggests that women are underrepresented in senior management because they are less likely to compete. There is work-life balance challenges, the difficulties women leaders face in managing both work and non-work obligations. There is a work-family conflict, time-based work-family conflicts. There is the stereotyping and gender, difficulty in climbing corporate ladder, work-family conflict, increased role conflict and work-life concerns, implicit bias, the tendency for individuals to favor male candidates over female candidates, gender schemas, and we see some of the same things being repeated across board. If I also take a look at the document that we extracted, we can use this AI system to tell us what the main findings were. In underrepresentation of women in leadership in Ghana, it says despite women making up the majority of the population in many regions in Ghana, they are severely underrepresented in leadership positions at both regional and national level. Women have the lowest representation in local government assemblies, and there is no decision-making level in Ghana in 2022 meets the UN recommended 30% minimum for female recommendations. I can decide to delete a column and add a column that helps us summarize these documents. This one is Female Future Program in the Digital Era, and this one is a gender moderates leadership style, with women exhibiting more transformational leadership and men exhibiting more transactional leadership. Women are more transformational leaders as the component of transformational leadership style are more aligned with feminine gender role. The gender of the organization also moderates the leadership style of women, with women exhibiting a more androgynous style in masculine organizations. So, these are literally research from these documents, and I didn't have to read it. So now, if I was going to write a thesis, I pretty much have about 10 different sub-theses I could explore from this. So first, what did we do? Right here, we understood the problem we wanted to solve, right? And then we needed to find data to back it up. Who has researched around this? Who has done this work before? I'm not the first person trying to do it. We take it and we extract key points as they pertain to us. That's the thing. It's an AI system. It's data. It's not a human being. It means it can scan through 10,000 pages right now and you tell it, I only want, one page out of this. I need to give it to you, right? So from here, you can go on and start exploring. And if this was non-fiction, you could have generated a book because you already have 10 chapters. Let's see if our ebook is ready. Yes, I think our ebook is ready. Yeah, we have Luna and the Great Intergalactic Friendship Festival. It's the credits are in my name, and it's a whole ebook that goes about Luna's story. It's quite long. And none of this was done by me. I did not have to. Well, it was done by me. So it's a new chapter for Luna and the Stardust crew. Fine. As Luna and the Stardust crew prepared for the Great Intergalactic Friendship Festival, they couldn't help but feel a spark of excitement in the air. This was no ordinary festival. It was a celebration of unity among the many alien species from distant galaxies. With colorful banners fluttering in the cosmic breeze and music echoing through the stars, Luna knew this was a momentous occasion that would bring everyone together. And so this is the story of Luna making new friends, new adventures, etc. And, forging new friendships and everything, right? And it was generated for me with AI, making friends with aliens. So there is nothing, especially with fiction. AI is great at fiction. It can come up with anything because it does not have to tell the truth. It doesn't have to fact check. But then when you need facts, your process is a bit more rigorous, which is why, tools like Elicit exist, because now it's fact checking. This is a source and it will tell you where the source is from and where that paper is. Right? So if your process is fiction, AI is the best. You can just come up with an idea, come up with subsections, boom, it'll be written in seconds. However, if your process relies on facts and sources, your workflow would be a bit more strict. You're not just going to start writing, you're going to first of all take the researches, understand the research, look over the hypothesis and then use that to develop your own article. So maybe we can do Q&A at this point. There are so many other tools that do the same thing. There is Wordware. It does the same thing where you can write a fictional book using AI. And then there are tools like ChatGPT. The reason you have ChatGPT is sometimes you just need to generate answers real quick. I did not come up with the title of the book. I asked ChatGPT to give me a title. I asked it to describe the audience, and I went on and then just created my book. So there are various ways you can do it. This platform is called Wordware, an app just by describing what you want. It's actually very powerful too because, let me see. Let me close this one because I can start with very, very simple. Let's create a new project. I can start with a very simple idea, but have more control over how the AI systems work. When you have AI systems working together, the term for it is usually called an agent system. But this is a simple wordware software. What you do is you tell it to do something and it will generate the ideas, and you constantly just have to describe everything you need it to do. It's for the sake of this, it's new, so you can explore it on your own. Like if you want to play hard mode, because unlike with the designer, it pretty much just held my hand through the entire process. With Wordware, you would be the one holding the AI's hand. So you say, you know what, at this chapter, I need you to generate the plot, but I also want you to select the most engaging plot and improve it again, and then generate titles for the storyline, and consistently just give it the instructions on what to do. You define the writing style, you give it the inputs and everything it needs, and just like fine tune each step of the process. Because when we were generating The Adventures of Luna, we had to first of all define Luna, the title of the book. We then had to come up with the chapters for the book. We had the plot, then we defined the audience, we defined the tone of our book, and then we let the AI system generate it. Now it has generated it, great, we have a book. I can possibly just edit it while I'm at it and say, you know what, I'll call her Tuna, or, stuff like that. But now I have a whole book and I don't need to write it from scratch. I'll just read this book, which is easier. I now just became an editor. So I did not even have to write it all over again. I now just became an editor and I read it and I'm done. So the process that would have taken like a week, I just cut it down in an hour. Right? I sit down, read the book, and I'm like, okay, I think it's on the right track. Let's modify chapter 1, chapter 5, etc., and cut it down. So the capacity for AI is endless, and there's like AI in sales and marketing. And I wanted to show this particular one, which is a very interesting project, a very interesting tool. What it does is it goes online to anywhere a topic you are talking about is mentioned, and it will write a reply. So you go to Twitter, you go to Instagram and Facebook, and you see replies to tweets and posts. Some of them are actually not humans, and yes, they're actually not humans. I kid you not. I would have set up a demo, but there was no time, because the thing is, it's pretty much the same thing to a brand ambassador. So when you now have written the book, great. You've published the book, great. You've done the event for the book, great. How are you going to get people to know about the book? So maybe your book is along the lines of health crisis or history or traveling. Do you think there's somebody out there speaking their mind on the internet that would find value from a quote in one chapter in your book? Because the next step I'll do, just like with Elicit, where I put all those PDF and I extracted the key information I want, I can do the same thing, But this time around, I'm only extracting something I can say to somebody on the internet. It'll be like, oh yes, you should read about the adventures of Luna, and she made friends who are aliens. It was such an interesting story. You should buy the book. In fact, just buy the book, and then you have like what 100 of this, which is crazy. But um, in large scale businesses do this. I can tell you, you're no longer paying human brand ambassadors. You're paying AI brand ambassadors because now you don't need those human beings to read the books. Just put the PDF in. You don't need them to understand what the person is crying about because the AI system can read it, get context, look at your book, and then respond. Right? We've already seen how we took a research topic with existing research from others, and we got sub context for that. So we can do it. We can apply the same process both in our internal value chain and external value chain. It means in marketing, in sales, where we already have like 100 brand ambassadors out there who have already read our book and they can like just talk about it in very, very subtle manners. They're not even going to say the whole thing. They're like in the comments, yeah, it was fascinating. Do you want to learn more? It's like, yeah, okay, go buy the book. Right? Because it's now harder to sell than before. Normally it would have been easier to sell if you had large distribution channels, but now those distribution channels are also getting automated and people are reading more online. And then there are like more cohesive interaction experiences. I don't know if I can demo that one, but those ones are it's very personalized. It's the next level for publishing. I take the Luna book and I personalize it to one person, which is a bit more technical in how you look at it, because now if I personalize it to an individual, I may not tell that individual all the chapters of the book. I only give them certain stories from the book every now and then. We've done this experiment before across several projects. We tried it even with the Bible. We took the Bible and we just personalized it. It's a book. And then it's like, how would you like us to talk to you about this book? So it exists, and it's usually fun and exciting. I think anybody. Yeah. I think let me see. I think we can, because we did it. It's an app we have here. Yes. So we took the Bible, which is the KJV, and we are like, can you personalize this book for me? And I'm just going to say, I'm a coward, which is pretty much hard. What the person could be feeling at a certain point. And it says, fear not, for the Lord is with thee. Consider the words of the psalmist. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? And that's from the book Psalms 27:1. So the verse reminds us that God is our protector and source of strength. When feeling cowardly or fearful, trust in the Lord's power and guidance. He is ever present to support and deliver us from our anxieties affairs. I don't believe this, bro. Doubt not, for the Lord is ever patient and understanding. Reflect upon the words spoken to the father of the child in Mark. And straightway the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Lord, I believe. Help thou my unbelief. Mark chapter 9, verse 29.
Excuse me. What did you say you said you were what? A coward.
Yes.
Okay. I thought that.
Yes. So this verse shows that in the moments of doubt, we can seek the Lord's help to strengthen our faith. God knows our heart and is compassionate. So how do I seek His help? How do I seek His help? To seek the Lord's help, turn to Him in prayer and read His word and trust in His promises. Call unto me and I will answer thee, and shew thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. Jeremiah 3 verse 3. And then he says, ask and it shall be given you, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall be turned it shall be opened unto you. Matthew 7:7. Jesus assures us that when we seek God's help earnestly, He'll provide for our needs and open the doors to understanding. And you see how in the previous conversations I only got one verse, and in this conversation now I have 4 different verses. Because now I am more open and saying, how do I seek His help? So these systems have been trained, they're smart enough, you can apply it to anything. And imagine this over a voice assistant.
Have a lot of the content was generated by AI. She won the highest literary award in the country, she said. It became a national discourse. End of the day, the pollution is still going on, but she still kept the award. She said, it's your way. So let us publishers, let's look at the expression of the ideas much more than you have come. Of course, you have all your inbuilt, how do you call it, things that you have to put in your contract. But let's also look at how we can leverage on AI and flow with the rest of the world. Because else, we look at the protectionist aspect and we may lose that. That is my personal opinion. Okay, anyway, yes.
So I'm going to show you something that has been done for media.
Before you proceed,
right?
AI companies do not use ideas. They are using products. They are using expressions of authors. And those expressions need
compensated.
Yes. That is where the issue.
So I
understand your point, madam. As much as we are looking at how we can advance AI, we need to also look at, just like what Copy Ghana is doing. Once people photocopy your work for free, at least they compensate authors and those book owners for that. So, but I think it's a global issue now, and it's even beyond.
If I tell you that none of these individuals are real, would you believe me?
Yes, it's true.
Great. So social media influencers have done this thing where they can license a version of themselves and you can use them for your video. Okay. So now I can run my business because is the way to go. As a matter of fact, when we post videos, we get more. So now I can run my business and I never have to sit. I think the same thing can be applied to books. It has to be a way because let's call this the checkpoints. Everything has been done. If someone's copyright has been done, these systems now know it. They've learned it. So moving forward, there are signatures you can use, there are licensing mechanisms for future content. And what will happen is you'll now be easy to create new artifacts because now you get better compensation for it. Now people will also
it's already pre-trained. And the problem with Africa is we don't have enough data sets on the internet. Right? It's actually a harm.
Yes.
No, it's not a good thing, it's a harm. Right? So if you're writing something like the book that you write, the way you went about it is just like clickbait. But if I also write a book, I also start by telling you the story from my perspective, my vision, my creativity, and then have the AI assist me in writing my book. Not having the AI write the whole thing.
The critical part of the assessment is really just here we are, we don't have one data. It's a good thing on both ways because that's the attacked. But people migrate. Yeah, that was why I talked about prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is the process of instructing. Prompt engineering is the process of instructing the AI on what to do, and you do that using prompting techniques. I highlighted there is a baseline, there is a chain of thought, and then there's strict rules. And I showed that in research, when you want precision, there's a type of prompt you use. When you want template stickiness, there's a type of prompt you use, like this. And when you want recall, there's a type of prompt you use. Now, your prompt is only as good as your input. And your input is the data. and your instruction sets. So if you give the same instruction to an AI system, the answer will not be the results will not be the same in most cases, because AI systems have a parameter called temperature. Temperature is a definition, is something used to describe how creative an AI system can be. So when you get into like the complex aspects of working with these systems, you would see these things come up. Like in WordWare, where I describe my flow and I try to modify the flow, and I say, what it is. It will do creativity. When I choose the model, I choose GPT-4. I can set the temperature for that model, right? And the temperature is how you stay more creative or less creative, right? In advanced this thing, they're like various. Let me say, OpenAI GPT params, and then we just look at the docs. And so if the documentation open, right? I should see those options. Yes. There is temperature, there is the model, which is the input. There is temperature, and there is, let's see, making requests, chat. No, let me see chat. Yes. So there are parameters called the message, the model. There's frequency penalty. Say number between 2 to 2 minus 2, which penalizes your AI model if it writes the same thing more than once. There is a logic bias, which is essentially like saying, use more of this. There is the presence penalty, which penalizes new tokens based on whether they have appeared in the text so far, increasing the likelihood of your AI model to speak about new topics, right? And there is even the seed. If specified, our system will make a best effort to sample to be deterministic. A seed is just a way to say, you know what, if I write this exact prompt, always give me the same output.